4:03. First of all, Kevin Kennedy is sick, so I will be running the meeting. I'll go with the attendance again. We have from Police Department, Mike Com, present over here. Mika, I'm present. Emmeline is present. Bill Hurley is present. Anthony Calabrese on Zoom is present. Frank Batiste is also on Zoom, is present, and Jeff as an alternate, he is also present. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 7 people are here, so we have a quorum. So we can start the meeting. So that comes for call to order. Let's do Pledge of Allegiance. So Emmeline, you want to do Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Third item on the agenda is to consider and act upon November 20th and December 18, 2025 meeting minutes. We can only vote on November 20th, 2025 meeting minutes because December 18th is not ready, is not posted yet. So we will be voting on that item in our next meeting, but we can vote on to November 20th, 2025 meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Second.
I'll abstain, sorry. No, I'll second it then.
Okay, I will abstain from voting, so. Everybody who says approve, say aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's go on to our item number 5. I'm moving John Cotell's proposal so he doesn't have to wait for us, which is item number 5E, because that's going to be taking a very few seconds to approve. No parking and no standing sign request at Richard White Way, which is the last in the package. So John can talk about this, what he's proposing.
So in your package, you have a drawer in there that shows a blue line that goes around Richard White Way from just shortly after our Public Works garage exit gate, going all the way around the curve, up the hill to the entrance of Denali. Problem we're having there is we're having buses that are parking along the side of the road. It's a blind curve going up over the hill. And with our trucks from DPW, they're having to go over the yellow line to the to pass these parked buses, and then you're creating a potential head-on collision over a blind hill. So we'd like to have no parking around that whole bend there. Or standing, parking or standing.
I'll share it on my screen if
So
any.
if you look at it there. That's starting on the left. That's a raised area, so if you're driving in a car or something like that, you're in a blind curve going around it. The buses wind up parking from that spot there, and then also past their exit, which is where that arrow was, going up the hill. We have queuing lines that are set up for the transfer station for trucks to go in those other queuing lanes, as well as cars. And like I said, what you wind up doing when they're parked, buses are parked there, there's not enough room to stay on the same side of the road when you're going past them.
I'll just, I don't know, I will make a motion to approve to start the discussion. Seems to me like it's a private driveway where I don't know that it's an official roadway, or, I don't know, does anyone want a second, and then we can continue the conversation? I mean, I'm happy to make a motion to approve if we need the town to bless installing the signs. It seems to make sense, but this isn't, again, I don't know that this is a public roadway where we, as the local traffic authority, have to, I don't know if it's our jurisdiction per se.
Public road, are you talking about Richard White Way being a public road?
I think it's a private driveway. So I don't get the sense that Richard White Way is an actual roadway right-of-way. But that being said, I think that what you're asking for is completely reasonable. It makes sense. And so what I would defer is to maybe our DPW director to go ahead and just install the signs.
Well, they need to be installed so that police can enforce it.
I'll second your motion, and then just to highlight that this is a safety issue. Richard White Way may not have an established right-of-way because of all the surrounding area is town of Fairfield. But the same token, it may be on one of the state's inventory list or whatever. So we're on the air of caution or the air, we're bringing it up and we'll vote on it. But I don't see any issue with this for strictly safety reasons. So I don't know if anybody else has anything
Any
there.
questions?
Has
No.
anybody spoken to the bus company? Why are they?
Yeah, that
parking
was
there?
my question.
I had asked Papa George Angeles to convey to them, for them not to park there. It's stopped for maybe 2 days or so, and I still see them out there.
They just taking breaks, queuing up there? Or?
I think they moving buses out of the way. If you look and see how they're stacked, they may be
Right.
moving some and just parking them out on the road there or something. You get several that will go out there and do their light checks, which is another problem issue where they're pulling out and pulling on the side there and they're checking their red stop flash. So now as a car, I know they're not picking up kids, but I'm not gonna go past it while they still have it out there. That's not the spot to do it. The spot to do it is in their parking lot. Not on a road that's traveled by the public.
That's it. I'm approved for safety reasons, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
so my question is, if we tell them not to park there, are they gonna end up parking someplace worse?
If they want to park farther, after you go over the hill by Denali's entrance, then it's flat and you have a visibility of seeing oncoming traffic. Here, you're coming over a blind hill or around a blind curve. That's the
I'm just
problem.
concerned they're gonna go out to Reef Road and park out there.
I mean, again, they can reach out, and I'm sure if it's for a couple of minutes each day, there's plenty of other parking spots, or as John alluded to, even pull off to the side on a straightaway rather than around a curve.
Yeah, who coordinates with them?
That's
Board of
the
Ed?
Board of Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just concerned if we tell them not to go there, we're gonna squeeze the toothpaste out of the tube and it's gonna go someplace we don't want it to go, so.
Like I say, the big issue here is when they did the hardening project, we created a hump. And as you're coming over that hill, it's a blind spot coming over the hill and having an oncoming truck catch you. And like I said, I have garbage trucks that are going through there all the time. We have our DPW trucks and heavy equipment and they're being pushed off to the side of, over the yellow line to get by them. I got the queuing already set up for that. So if they go over the hump to where it flattens out closer to towards the fire training center or conservation area, then you can at least, you're on a level straightaway where you can see what's around you. Here you can't.
Okay, I don't have any problems. I can make the motion to approve.
Oh, I made it. Bill seconded already.
Okay, so everybody who is in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So now I will move on to my 5A item, which is a crosswalk request at Mill Hill Lane at Mill Hill Road. This was presented in November 2025 meeting. At that time, we had to table it because further studies and some investigation was required. In your packets, we have provided all the conditions, all the introduction, and what were the outcomes were. So our outcome of this whole study that we have done is that we are proposing a a crosswalk at that. Sorry, I don't have here where. The proposed crossing location is situated approximately 250 to 350 feet from the adjacent roadway curves, providing adequate site distance. Based on these observations, the engineering department of the town of Fairfield finds a location suitable for the installation of a crosswalk to enhance pedestrian safety. So this is.
There was a diagram in the packet. Can you-
Yes, let me pull that diagram
was- it
out
was a
quickly so I
diagram.
can easily see. I don't see the location properly written on the report.
Yeah, it does show it's slightly west of where
Yeah.
that roadway intersects, the Y intersection.
Yeah, it's Mill Hill Lane, just
Yeah.
Here.
southwest of Mill Hill Lane.
Okay, you can see it. So that's the location. Um, That's the location, and that's where we are proposing a crosswalk because of the side, adequate side distance, that because there's an entrance of the cars. So that's the right location, because what happening is the resident has been requesting some pedestrian crossings. There is a school nearby, and when they're walking, they don't have any crossings, that for the pedestrians. So that was the reason that we are proposing a crosswalk over here. Any comments and questions or anything that anybody has?
We have.
So, I got a question for you here. So is there a it's hard to tell from this drawing, but is there a
Yeah.
sidewalk from here up to the school?
No, there's no sidewalk, right?
I
I
think
don't,
No sidewalk.
There is a sidewalk on the Mill Hill School side.
There is.
There is, on the same side as the school, but there's not one across the street where this crosswalk would originate from.
You know, it was hard to see from the drawing.
Yeah, it's not very
So
clear.
there's a sidewalk right here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But on this side, there's not a sidewalk.
That's correct.
Is there, can we put fog lines in? So there's a place to walk?
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
today the request is only for a crosswalk. Put it there, a fog line or not, well, let's see quickly I will go over the width of this roadway. I don't know, they haven't captured the roadway width either here, so I don't know
I think it's on there right there, right? 30 feet, 35.
where it is.
Yeah, 35. It's 35, so you just need, there's a fog line here, but it doesn't look like there's a fog line on the non-Mill Hill side.
Does it seem like there's enough space to put one?
35, we need, we
We
need
need-
20, right, Megan? We need
Well,
20.
Yeah,
Usually it's a 24.
yes.
yeah,
That's pretty
but Jeff, just to, I'd been out to the site, and that 35 is a little bit misleading because that's at the edge of the intersection.
There is right there.
So, yeah, Mill Hill, let me get it right, Mill Hill Road is probably not 35, it's probably more like 24 or 30 at most. It's because you're at the widest, well, not the widest part, but you're still at an intersection, so hence it's a little bit wider than the rest of the roadway.
I'm just-
That crosswalk was selected because if we put the crosswalk on, I'm going to say the north side or the other side of the intersection, there was a grade change, which would make it very difficult to meet any ADA compliance. And at that one, the shorter distance of 283 for the site distance goes below, it's going to go below like 250 or 220 or something like that. And so I would even reduce, that's why, reduce the site distance. So that's why we actually had to move the sidewalk to the other side of the intersection. And with a couple of people who were here at a previous meeting, an RTM member and one of the neighbors, I believe, we had stressed that if we put it on that side, we might need a little bit of an education campaign that, we provide you crosswalk, you got to use it at that location. Don't take a shortcut. Otherwise, there's no point in doing that, because if you're going to take a shortcut and you're going to go right around the curve or something, then that's more dangerous.
I don't see people using this crosswalk.
Well, that's why, as I said, it was really for the Mill Hill Lane people to walk to school. As you know, they don't get bus living that close to the school, and that's why this location was chosen.
Like a deer path, right here where people walk through. And I know there's a slope.
Yeah, there's a slide, and we saw that. We saw that via footprints.
And you're not allowed to do that,
Yep.
but people are still gonna use this one. So I think this, I don't know, I mean, I understand
Well,
you're doing it there, but I just don't think anybody's gonna use it.
I will, I live on Mill Hill Lane. I'm one of the neighbors that live on Mill Hill Lane. Is it okay if I just give a little feedback?
Please.
Okay, so this situation's getting more and more dangerous.
In a meeting, but if you have any information, you can text me or I can call you back.
Sorry, is it okay? I hear
Yes,
back.
please go ahead.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
please go ahead.
All of the families right now have no way to cross the street. I can tell you firsthand, this whole street is all families that go to Mill Hill. We will all be using this crosswalk. And I think where it is right now, not speaking to like the curve and all of that, but as just a pedestrian, we will make sure all of the kids on our block use this crosswalk. And that would, we just got an email from the principal the other day saying, they're getting complaints. Kids are going between parked cars. People are making K turns. It's super dangerous. And I wrote back and said, we have no way to cross the street right now. So this crosswalk where you put it, and thank you guys so much for taking the time to look into this. I can tell you, we would definitely use this.
So Megan, just real quickly, what I was talking about before though is if the crosswalk goes all the way to the grass, is there any way to bump it out? Is there any, it looks like there's some space to bump it out, so at least there's, a landing spot so people aren't in the street when they're in the crosswalk on that south side, on the right side.
My understanding from the site visits is that this place was selected for the way it is showing on. We can definitely look into it, how we can actually dimension it and what the clear placement will look like. You're just showing the location as of now. We can just work on to the details and another part of it. So the whole purpose is just to show the location, and this location is selected, as we said, that there are various locations we were considering. The fact that where these pedestrians can cross, and depending, and because there is a curve, there's a horizontal curve on this roadway, it was very restricted sight line, and for as of now, we're coming to this location where we can help people to cross this roadway. As Nicole said, that's what the main driving factor of them was, they did not have any place to cross. So we're trying to accommodate that feature, and we can definitely work on to the details.
And and just to give you firsthand experience, this is where a lot of us already cross. So we walk down that hill, Mill Hill Lane, and this crosswalk's at the bottom of where we walk down, and then we cross. We just do it right now without the crosswalk. So this is where the majority of us are crossing the street.
And you have Anthony and Frank who want to talk.
Yeah, Anthony or Frank, you have any comments? Frank and Anthony is. Frank, you can go ahead.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, so thank you for putting this together, Mega. I do agree with it. There are a lot of kids who walk there. Full disclosure, I've had kids in Mill Hill for the last 10 years myself, so I'm familiar with the area. Jeff, to your question about the fog lines, it does get narrower as you come around the bend there on Mill Hill, so I think that's why they're not there. But, kind of as Mega already stated, this side of that road is you're dealing with less grade, so we can get the ramp in there and the sight distance work. So I support putting it here.
Anthony, thank you, Frank.
I fully support having a crosswalk at this location. But I was curious, if you were to put it up where Jeff was talking about, where kind of the deer trail is now, that property that separates the road above and Mill Hill, whose property is that? If we cleared the trees there, made a better sight line, built a sidewalk, or built a stairwell down, and then put the crosswalk right there, to me, I think you'd have sight line space. I would say that's a much bigger project, but probably a more convenient spot for people to cross.
Yeah, you said one of the key words is a stairwell. Again, whenever we do a crosswalk, we have to put in the proper ADA compliance, and stairwell wouldn't meet the ADA compliance criteria. I just want to remind anyone, and for the voting item, is to hear, consider, act on new signs and markings for the following, and it would be crosswalk request. Associated with this crosswalk request would be all the associated crosswalk signage, crosswalk ahead sign, and any pavement markings we feel necessary. So if there was room or we felt there was a benefit to do an edge line in that area, or even just along the curb or until they get to a sidewalk, we have the right to do that if it's approved as noted. So.
I think even having it in the lead up to the crosswalk is helpful to help motorists stay as close to the center line as possible in case you have heads waiting to cross. So that, they can do the recognition of, we're here, and then they can slow down.
Well, we have 10, as I said, 10-foot, we could have gone down to 10-foot lanes.
Yeah.
This board has already approved 10-foot lanes. And so therefore, if there's 26 feet, that would give it 3 feet on either side.
Right.
If there, or something like that. So the approval could certainly, consider all signs and pavement markings following the MUTCD. So
I hear you making a motion, Bill.
that's
a motion.
That's where I was exactly leading to. So I make
I'll
a
second.
motion,
I'll
make a
second.
motion to approve the crosswalk request at Mill Hill Lane and Mill Hill Road to include all associated signs and markings regarding the crosswalk.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So item number 5A is done. So let's move on to item number 5B. A stop sign request at Morehouse Highway intersecting Bulkley Drive. This is carried again from November. We were in a thinking process and an investigation process. I can read again. This request comes from Tara Viola, a resident of 202 Morehouse Highway. She would like to petition for a stop sign at the corner of Morehouse Highway and Bulkley Drive. So we did the site was inspected twice actually. One was on February 9th and one was back in November. And the recently was at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. We inspected the site. So she wants a stop sign at Morehouse. We collected some data through CTDOT webpage. That is, we have 3,600 vehicles per day, first highlight at Morehouse Highway. The posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour, and the observations are it can go like around 30 and 31. We did not see significant speeding issues over there. Third, we have 2 reported crashes at Morehouse driveway, which resulted in injuries of any type. There is angle crashing, and there's one fixed object hitting the fixed object. So total were only 2 crashes, and the crashes are shown on the map. I can actually scroll as I am talking too, if I can. So let me open the plan, just bear with me. Here. So I have a crash, so the red marking, those are the crashes spots. So that's the kind of a background on the data collection. So there are two issues. That one is the site observation. When our intern, he went out and he observed the site and collected some data. And when he was in the field, he said that he was having turning left from the Bulkley Drive onto Morehouse. He said that there's a sight line issue. He cannot see the cars coming on at that, and it's very hard to judge the speed, and it was very hard to make left turn. And we also, when we visited back in November, similar issues, we also noticed that there's a sight line because there's a crest curve at Morehouse Driveway. So that's like an observation, perception that we went. And we also we further evaluated the stopping side distance because there is a crest vertical curve at Morehouse Highway near Bulkley Drive. Now, Bulkley Drive makes like a U there, so I'm just talking about the first part of the Bulkley Drive, not further north, just the first north. So that is a critical spot. So when we calculated the engineering calculations we did, taking into account the vertical crest curve, we took 6% grade. There's a 6% grade there. We also took into account the object height, and we took all the driver's eye height, and we took AASHTO, the manual. It says the stopping side distance at 25 miles per hour should be 155 feet. So we took that into consideration and we calculated. Our calculation shows that stopping side distance is actually more than the length of the curve. And that's a critical part, meaning that people need more distance to stop. So if car is speeding more than 25 miles per hour, I can actually put the worst case scenario even at 40. If somebody is just speeding, they will not have enough time, enough distance to stop. So our observations and calculations kind of tell us that one alternative is to put stop sign at Bulkley Drive. We don't have a stop sign at Bulkley Drive so that people just proceed with caution and they're not just making misjudgment. They have enough time to just stop and let that clear Morehouse Highway, clear the path, and then they make a left turn. We don't have that. So that's one suggestion. And another suggestion, I'm not sure, somebody spoke to Bill and said they want a crosswalk. So if there is any crosswalk that needs to be proposed, that has to not be at Bulkley Drive, but further at Bulkley Drive, which we have shown on the plan. So those are the two alternatives that we are actually trying to consider as an alternate to first improve this stopping side distance issue, and second, the crossing issue that somebody brought up.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Is the proposed crosswalk at the first Bulkley Drive or the second?
Second.
So the further north one?
Yes,
Okay,
this
got it.
one, this green one here.
The first, or if you're going north, it was the first one, right? Not this.
Yeah, it's the first one, but it shows there's two possibilities of a crosswalk. It's I guess it would be.
That's where the sight line
The
issue is.
northern crosswalk at the southerly
The
intersection.
more southern part,
Yeah.
there's no,
Yeah.
and that's where there's a little bit of a sight line issue.
Right.
But you're saying that the proposed crosswalk is the northerly extension of Bulkley? So a request for a stop sign is at the
Yeah.
southerly extension of
Yes.
Bulkley. The
Yeah.
proposed crosswalk is at the northerly.
Yes.
Where the
this-
green
extension
The
of
green
Bulkley.
one, that green one.
Okay,
That
got it.
green is that where the crosswalk goes, but the red one is a critical zone where I'm talking about the sightline issue.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
But what, the detail, does it look like it corresponds to either one of those?
I don't know why they're putting two crosswalks. I don't know, but I only know
The
that
green one, there's a street across, is that a driveway across the way there?
there is.
Yeah, it's a
Which is
driveway.
20 feet?
Yeah, that's a driveway.
Okay.
I will just go with this green one, and I mean, I will go with this crosswalk. I don't know what this crosswalk
Yeah, no,
is here.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's one alternate with this crosswalk here, and then the red one is a critical zone, which,
May I ask another question?
yeah.
So is it desirable from a roadway design perspective to have them be separate, or would you combine, is it too confusing to combine those features?
Yes.
I'm asking the question just for educational purposes.
If you ask me, I will just make one. I don't know what these two driveways really make confusing. That's
Well,
what
it's a
they
private
mean,
driveway
yeah.
across. But I mean, I guess the question is, does it add more safety to the crosswalk to also have that be a stop? As opposed to doing the stop at the first Bulkley Drive and then having a crosswalk at the second? Is it a safer feature to consolidate the two? Or is it a bad idea? And I'm asking
Yes.
the engineers as part of the LTA and Officer Com.
So there are two issues here. First issue is definitely the stopping sight distance. So because considering that, I won't recommend a crosswalk at that red, consolidating it.
Okay.
Because stop sign is for that right away, and then there will not be a visibility for the pedestrians, for the drivers who are coming.
Okay.
So I won't from the roadway safety point, but because somebody is also wants to cross this roadway, that is why we are moving, we're shifting the crosswalk further. But at the same time, we have to think how to address the stopping sight distance issue. So we have two issues, but they are has to be separated.
Okay. Okay.
My opinion, I disagree a little bit, but I agree with most of what you're saying. If we were to combine them, you would use the red circle that's shown on our screen there, the southerly intersection. If we were to make that an all-way stop, Meg is right. You do not want to have it as the southerly crosswalk there.
You want to do it as the northerly?
But we could possibly do it northerly because they would have stopped. You'll have another 50 feet of sight distance for them to cross, but they're also stopping at the stop sign. So that kind of helps that situation. My fear is if we have a three-way stop and we put the crosswalk on the green intersection, what might not be known is there's also a hill coming if you're heading southbound on Morehouse Highway, and the sight distance there isn't too great, and we would have an uncontrolled crosswalk.
Okay.
So that's why I think that if we're going to put a crosswalk, I think it should be at the southerly intersection, but on the northern part of the intersection, if that makes sense. So as we're seeing, the north crosswalk in that red circle
With a
area.
three-way stop.
With a three-way stop.
configuration.
With the three-way, yes, but with one, no.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You would not, Mega, that's what I mean by Mega is mostly right, is that if you just have the stop at Bulkley, then no, you wouldn't want it. It has to, that crosswalk in that red circle
lower
has to be associated with the stop sign. Otherwise, no.
Otherwise, it's dangerous.
That's correct.
Okay.
And again, we'd have to have stop ahead signs, stop bars, everything is signs and pavement markings associated with that.
And this is an area where there's not particularly good ambient lighting, so everything should be super reflective.
Very dark.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Frank has a question.
Yes, just so I'm clear. So the red circle on the left is where you're saying we would do the always stop and the crosswalk, correct?
If we have to consolidate, yes, three-way stop sign with the crosswalk.
That's
I mean,
where
I think if we're going to put the stop sign in my opinion, it's better to put the crosswalk where the stop sign is.
Yep.
And I do think it warrants the stop sign if we don't have the sight distance. Because it's not like the
Yes.
sight distance is, a tree or the plants or something. It's the hill and the curve.
Yeah,
so you can't correct that. So
That's what I was going to just say, is it's a non-correctable.
right, it's not
And it's not only the stopping sight distance, but the intersection sight distance
Right.
is not met either. So you have two different scenarios there.
Right.
But I would,
Okay.
as I said, definitely have the stop aheads, because this would be a new stop sign that people have been
Yep.
driving that road for 20 years.
This is my concern. I feel like we're creating a problem that we don't have right now because the biggest issue on this street are not stopping for the stop signs that are already there.
Right.
And you're going northbound on Morehouse Highway, you're hitting, you would hit this one first, Godfrey, Coach, which shouldn't be there in my opinion, and then Adley again. And when you put a lot of stop signs and stack them up, people get frustrated, they don't stop for them, and they actually increase speeds between the stop signs to make up time. It's like putting a lot of speed bumps. All right now, we don't have any crash history here right now, so again, I just feel like it's gonna be another stop sign that I'm gonna get a ton of complaints about that no one's stopping for and giving a false sense of security.
Yeah, and stop signs aren't supposed to control speed.
No.
Intent. So, back to I'll ask my troublesome question. Where we're going. Can we put a mini roundabout in there?
No. Sorry, I don't know.
Right.
It's a very, first of all, again, there's a grading issue, there's a crest issue. to me, I think we need to fix this side distance first before we do anything else.
But how do you fix a sight distance? I mean, a stop sign,
Speed table.
I mean, a speed table? Okay. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
a stop, I drive this road all the time. I drove it today.
Yeah.
And, the stop signs are suggestions. And putting a stop sign in it's not a solution for speed. And
No,
so
that's
it's-
absolutely correct. Yep.
So I think that's the issue is speed, and a lot of people walk on this road. It should be prioritized for sidewalks at some point, but that's a different topic. But a stop sign is not it's not gonna fix this problem.
Well, I have noticed that even with 25 miles per hour, I'm not talking about, there's not as much we're talking about speeding issue on this roadway. Talking about the first issue is the stopping side distance. Even with 25 miles per hour, we don't have adequate length, we don't have adequate room to stop the car at that 155 feet. So to your stop signs or speed control or not, how we are fixing this issue first? Are we want to fix this issue? Can speed table fix the issue of a stopping side distance, or a roundabout can fix the issue of a stopping side distance? It's a big open
But
question.
this is a problematic road, right?
What's that?
This is a problematic road. Because people walk on here, it's dark, it's straight. People may not speed because it's all local roads, but there is a real ability to speed on this road because it's a straight road.
Yeah, and I mean, but like, for us, we don't get a lot of speed when we do enforcement there. We enforce the stop signs because,
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah.
people don't stop for those
Right.
stop signs because, especially like Coach Lane, you can see, there's no sight, and there's rarely ever cars coming out of there, like there's rarely ever cars coming out of these streets. So you get used to, especially if you live in the neighborhood and you're driving that constantly, you just get used to it, and then it's just,
And it's not a through road, so people don't tear through there.
Right, exactly.
People go to Lake Mohegan.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I go there.
But this one, I guess, and I will defer to, those folks who are the engineers, on this particular, because we're dealing with a road slope issue, is it something where we as the LTA can make the motion that this is the more adequate location for a stop sign, but then we revisit the other stop signs in sequence
Yeah.
to determine whether those are no longer necessary,
Yeah.
given that we're installing multiple, hopefully more visible.
I just don't, I mean, I've been driving this road for 30 years. I don't think a stop sign's, to your point, is gonna make a difference.
Well, where it makes a difference, and again, it all judges by crash history, volumes, is if you are on Bulkley Drive and you are making a left-hand turn, all right, you're exposing yourself as cars are coming up the hill to get T-boned. And that's where
But it hasn't happened.
No, and-
it hasn't happened frequently. There's one that occurred in 2023 in the last 4 or 5 years. So that's what we're really, up against is how do we solve the problem where it's limited sight distance? Now, there are a couple of ideas I even thought of just off the top of my head in a sense of if you make Bulkley Drive one way, and have them come out at the other end, you know what I mean? But now, is the neighborhood going to support that? You're getting them away from the.
They already don't want to choose the other option. If that's a sight line, they should take left, go up the other way.
Right,
They already don't
exactly.
wanna do that.
The
That's
traffic
absolutely right.
count off of Bulkley is probably, what, 30 cars a day? I mean, it's.
Well, it's probably
1,500 per day, that's.
How many?
what-
No.
Bulkley.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
Bulkley.
Bulkley, I don't know.
Yeah, if there's 20 homes, you usually times it by 10, so it's 200. Yeah, for daily trips, yes. Yep. For peak hour, you're only dealing with 20. You're absolutely right. So that's again, that's where, these are kind of the gray area. You could put them
We get
in.
these stop signs
You may-
popping up everywhere, and
You may create another issue,
It's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I drive around and I'm like, why, this stop sign was clearly put here for speed.
yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, this would not be for
now we
speed.
created a whole nother problem.
Right.
It's a pet peeve of mine, too.
Yeah, so I just see like you get this false sense of security. You're making that left. You're assuming this car is going to stop for that stop sign, or now you got the.
Yeah, and that's why I throw up my, radical vegetarian ideas of, roundabouts, because in Europe, that's what they do. They put roundabouts in to control the speed. And that, it's physics. They use physics rather than enforcement to slow the cars down. And people, not everybody drives too fast, but there's the occasional college student, I'll pin it on them, but it's kids going to Lake Mohegan and just driving recklessly. People drive pretty safely there in general, because it's not a through cut. You can't get through there.
So roundabout is just a long-term solution. I'm just trying to solve from the safety perspective that we have found the stopping side distance issue, how we are going to solve it so that there are no future accidents to happen, and also to solve this whole pedestrian walkability issue. We can consider a roundabout, which will require, again, a separate, you have to analyze, analyze those countermeasures, but for immediate solution, because it's a safety distance issue, it's a safety hazard to me, how we are doing that is a question. Either, like as Frank said, a three-way stop sign because this is an intersection side distance problem, or having stop sign at Bulkley Drive, like Emmeline is saying that, okay, let's put one stop sign over there and then and a crosswalk. So
I just think back to the officer's suggestion, I think another stop sign there will just be something people grow accustomed to, ignoring, which is not the right signal we want to send to people, that it's okay to roll through stop signs, which is what everybody does now on that street anyway.
So no suggestions?
But that's where, it seems like we have different of opinions, and believe me, even if we do with the stop sign, those things that you mentioned, is it sergeant or lieutenant? Sergeant. Okay. That's where, that's why sometimes we take long. We don't just do quick decisions in 5 minutes or whatever. It might make sense to whoever's making the complaint. There's a lot of things involved. If there was no history of blowing through stop signs for this particular street, I would 100% support having the three-way stop. I definitely see your point, because that's going to be a con. Now, is it our, do we, put a stop bar, put stop, but it also means that, well, no, this is the one that is legit and it's warranted, but the other one isn't.
Well, I would say, if you put one in, take two away.
Well, I mean, that's.
But then also maybe consider just the stop sign going northbound if we're going to go that way, because that's the sightline issue.
That's where the sightline issue,
not
right. But and I'm not going by anything else. My own personal preference is when you only have two, the other people might think that they have to stop and they don't, and it gets, so I'd rather see either one stop sign at Bulkley or a three-way. I would want to see a two-way. That's just my opinion.
That makes sense.
The other thing would be is any way to, and the only other thing I could think of, again, just off the top of my head only, and I haven't really discussed it with anybody, is if you take the if there's a white shoulder line and you gauge the traffic further away from the intersection, then if someone were to pull out, that gives them a little bit more sight line, and more importantly, as someone's going up the hill, they at least can see the vehicle. That would be the only other thing to look at. So we have a couple of choices. We can table it for either more study, or we could just take a vote, and wherever it falls, it falls. I don't know what anyone else is considering. Again, all valid points that have been made, and you go from there. So, I don't know. And I just want to check, Anthony or Frank, I want to be fair to you guys. Anybody have any comments?
I'm not really in favor of this. I understand the sightline issue. Like many of you guys, I've driven that road for many years. I lived on that side of town. I mean, I like the stop sign, but I'm not a huge fan of the crosswalks there. It's a bigger issue, I think, on this road than this solution here, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think
Another,
the tricky part for me, Bill, is I kind of agree with you. It's like, regardless of what this request came in at, we've identified a deficiency in the sight distance. So, in my opinion, we should address that with the stop. That's just my opinion, though.
And I think I agree. I get all your countermeasures. Right now, the issue is a safety issue, and that needs to be addressed. We can wait for 6 months, and I don't want, because now it's in front of us, this issue. I see the stop sign only the immediate issue, so that people are taking caution. They are taking caution to take left turn. They are stopping there. They are getting enough time to see that the car, let that car pass through, either at Bulkley Drive or at two-way.
Can I ask?
We need something.
Can I ask another question? So if it's not just stop ahead, but it says three-way intersection ahead, does that help with people's driving behavior?
It's again, no, I don't think.
no, what it would be the stop ahead sign, and then at the stop sign,
It would have
underneath,
the
there'd be a
three.
placard that would either say three. I think
Okay.
they've done away with that where they'll say all way now. The new manual might have something to say on that, but we would follow whatever the manual says for that. I think it would probably say all way, meaning everybody stops underneath, but they won't see it until they get to the stop sign.
I mean, I would be willing to make a motion to install the three-way stop at this intersection with additional study and report back to the FTA on potential removal and or reconfiguration of other stop signs within the stretch of this roadway leading to Lake Mohegan.
So fix it for now.
Well, it's.
Is
again,
that a
if-
motion?
Yes, if it's a roadway, if there's a warrant for a stop sign in this location and the other stop signs no longer are warranted, then it allows us to more holistically look at this entire stretch. But based on the conversation from Mega and Bill and Frank, it seems like we have an identified safety issue here.
Yeah.
And I think we have to address that.
Yes. We have to address that.
So that's my motion. I don't know if that helps.
It does.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll second.
I'll second. Oh, you got it?
Frank can second.
Frank seconded it. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
With those conditions.
With those conditions.
Good. I'll move on to the third one. Stop sign request on Pansy Road at Valley View Road. This is another one that we received, and we had to do further studies. We presented this in November, and we did not take any decisions because the further studies were required. Let me first move on to my screen so any who are on Zooms can see the screen. So this is where we are. This comes from a resident at 62 Pansy Road. They're concerned about speeding and reckless driving, passing Osborne Hill Elementary School in both directions. He thinks this is to be a dangerous situation for students and parents walking to and from the school, as well as the many seniors and dog walkers. Additionally, they're concerned that the proposed 18-unit condominium development near the intersection of Stilson Road and Blackrock Turnpike, along with 2 new homes planned on Pansy Road, is expected to increase traffic volumes, including heavy construction vehicles, and many need to use of Pansy Road as an out-through route to bypass construction-related delays at the condominium site. So the resident has requested 2 things. They suggest the following. First suggestion, he wants an installation of a stop sign at the intersection of Valley View Place and Pansy Road. And they also suggest increased of enforcement by the police department, including targeted speed enforcement and issuance of speeding tickets. So that's where we are. We did collected the data. I will just move on to the data collections. We installed Black Cat radar units at selected locations from 11/19/2025 to 11/26/2025. We got the results. The posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour, and the average speeding is 30 and 31. I also have the 85th percentile here. We did that. The 85th percentile on the left of Pansy Road is 34 miles per hour, and on the right of the Pansy Road is 85th is 35.9. So technically, it's more than the average speeds there. So that's a data collection. I'll just go on to the data collection page.
So, Megan, back to your Black Cat, just, I mean, this is, first of all, your presentation, and this is really helpful. I appreciate it. So back to the Black Cat.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing 74 miles an hour on that road?
There's a one outlier, 4% people.
4%, so 4% of how many? Of the 803?
Yeah, that's what it shows. 803.
No, it's the 19,000.
Yeah.
692 trips.
Oh,
Trips.
4% of 19,000.
Traffic,
Okay,
yes,
that's a little more reassuring.
Yeah. No, 803 is 31 miles per hour out of.
And that's over whatever couple days that is, so.
It's
the
over a
19th to
week.
the
It's over a
26th.
week.
25th.
And it has no distinguishing from an ambulance or emergency vehicle or a high school kid driving fast. You don't have that.
That doesn't mean like 4% of vehicle have that speed. 4% of vehicle have the speed that is beyond limit. But 74 is the fastest speed. That is not the 4%.
I'm sorry, I don't see a 34 up there.
74.
Oh, the 74.
74.
Oh, 74.
Fastest speed of one car.
Right.
It's not the 4% of the cars.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
somewhat reassuring.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the
it-
fastest, yeah.
But, well, I don't want to get the numbers, but that's just like really concerning. Somebody's doing 74 miles an hour on that road. And back to the median, it's basically the median is the 31 and 30?
30 and 31 miles per hour between
And
that.
so how is that viewed? I mean, the speed limit's 25 there, right? How is 30 or 31 viewed as?
For us, like the standard practice, and this is just nationwide, and even you'll see it with the speed cameras, it's nothing, we don't stop or enforce 10 below. It's over that. And that's kind of just what's generally accepted. If we go start pulling over everyone,
tell
going
anybody.
26, 27, 28, miles an hour over.
31's not bad.
We'd be pulling over everyone, and we'd be even less popular than we are now.
Thanks, I just was trying to.
So yeah, I mean, this kind of goes with what we've seen. Like again, we've done a lot of enforcement on Pansy Road. I should have brought the numbers, but most of it's the stop sign up because we don't, again, get a lot of the speed
At the
in.
traffic light.
No, actually, if you go further up the stop
Brookside?
sign, a lot of cars, because it is a very busy cut.
Brookside?
So cars coming Brookside making that left, they just around that corner. So we did some improvements with the stop signs at that intersection, and everything to try to alleviate it, and a lot of enforcement there. But the speeding is not, again, yeah, people speed, but it's.
Is there a driveway access for the school actually on Pansy, or it's
Yeah.
all, it is,
It's on
okay.
Pansy.
But that's one of the exits out of that parking lot, or it's
It's
also,
a two-way.
it's a two-way
Yes.
entrance? Okay.
Yeah.
Lived in this town long enough, you know every.
Yeah, I know.
And if I recall, it's not a very wide one, so they're
Yeah, 'cause the
going kind of
primary-
slow going in.
Yeah, the
into
primary
it and
is on the
coming
other
out.
One
road.
of my meetings at night there.
Yeah.
This is Boy Scouts used to come.
Well, just throwing my input on this is, unlike the other one where the stop sign was really because it didn't meet sight distance, and right now we haven't come up with a viable and economic solution to solve that issue. This one here is not a sight line issue, and stop signs should not be used for speed control. But, perhaps there are some things that we could do. It maybe lowers the speeds 1 or 2 miles per hour. It's not a great thing, but we could look into putting fog lines in. And then that way, anybody who's walking, because I don't think many people are crossing at that, because you can cross at the other intersection and you could cross at the signalized with a crossing guard, with Stilson. So it's really just to help the pedestrian experience if anybody's walking. We could possibly do the edge lines there, narrow the pavement down, and at least then it gets the cars a little bit further away from the curb. And like I said, we could expect maybe a 1 or a 2 mile per hour. It won't be, 31 down to 24 or something like that, but maybe if we get it at least below 30, we've accomplished something. So that's just one of my ideas. Just my personal.
There are other alternatives we have.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't.
So one is your fog line, but we'll go into
Okay,
that.
good.
But I
Let's
want to
do
just
that.
cover, there's 1,600 vehicles per day. I just wanted to read the
Mm-hmm.
speeds, and also there are 3 reported crashes at Pansy, which one resulted in property damage, 2 involve injuries of any type. So I just want to go over, and then before I go to the alternates, we have 3 alternate suggestions that we are making in not having a stop sign, but there are 3 other alternatives that I would like to just go over before we start taking comments. And
Sure,
everything.
okay, sorry.
So following alternatives, we are considering school zone with reduced speed and flashing beacons. We did not see that along that roadway except the 2 signs. So
Just on that point real quick, that's coming. So that's in our next round with OSTA getting approval.
This is part of the.
This is the phase 2. That's on Stilson Road, it's not Pansy, but Stilson. Yeah, the speed cameras, and that requires the flashing reduced school zone because it's a state road.
Speed cameras on Pansy, though?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking on Pansy. Considering, because one thing that we have to also consider when we went during the school dismissal, during 2 p.m. and early, Shabir went on site and he observed that there were a lot of pedestrians and kids that were walking from the school. And there's only few sections that has sidewalk. It's in the report that they have said it's not along the whole Pansy Road that people can walk easily. There are only few sections, and then they have to zigzag across, right, Shabir? And there's only crosswalk is only present at the Stilson Road intersection. That's the only crosswalk they have. And there's a few broken sections of sidewalk. So pedestrians, there's a heavy pedestrian volume during the school dismissal and during the in the morning. So that's one critical point, is that it's in the school zone, and we have only 1 school's ahead sign or 2 signs. So not a good to stop sign is not that speed control, or it's not going to maneuver the pedestrians easily. What we are thinking in that alternate at this roadway is definitely like school zone with reduced speed and flashing beacon. That will help flashing during arrival and dismissal time. And then we have, if additional signs and speed management can be considered, like speed limit 25 or lower when flashing in school zone, radar speed feedback sign we can put on this roadway. And then once these signs are put, then we can have some operational measures like clear enforceable school zone times tied to flashes, and which is common in Connecticut, and targeted police enforcement in the first week after we put these signs and study the area, that how much difference it has made with controlling a little bit of speed and also making people and pedestrians comfortable walking at that site. So those are the alternatives that we can consider for now, considering heavy pedestrians and
I have a question for Shabir. The pedestrian activity, I know it's very busy. It's like his bee's nest. But is it mainly on Stilson, or did you see a lot of pedestrians going away from the school on Pansy? Because that's very important to know.
Yeah, that's the case. I mean, a lot of kids with their parents were going from school to the Pansy.
He said that a significant presence of pedestrians, including children, was observed during school arrival hours 8 to 9 a.m. and dismissal hours 3 to 4 p.m. And it's at Pansy, right?
Yeah, that was both. But lion's share was in Pansy as well.
So it's equal, you thought it was about equally spread out, or?
Yeah, 40, 50, 40, yeah,
Okay.
more or less equal.
Okay. The other opinion that I have on the school zone and the flashing sign is kind of like what we were talking about before. When you do one action, it may have a snowball effect. And I could definitely see any school saying, well, why do they get a flashing sign and not us? I'm not discounting that. And perhaps some of the upcoming programs that we're looking at, Safe Streets for All, Safe Routes to School, and some of the upcoming grants that we might be looking at is going to look at a holistic picture. And that might be the time to look at those type of situations. Because unfortunately, I don't think that this is unique just to this school. And so that's where, because we don't have right now, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have in the budget to do all the schools. So I think we'd have to put it in some sort of program to do that. But maybe not the flashing light.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The flashing, but certainly, a sign is certainly, we can afford that. So that's just my opinion on that.
Bill, I liked your suggestion of the fog lines too, because my experience, you put them in on Churchill, and it made a huge difference. It really made, because it's Churchill. A lot of people walk. It's similar to Morehouse. A lot of people walk on it, and people fly, and that's a cut through. So people fly through on it. So, but narrowing it down, and I don't know if we can narrow it down to 10 feet, 10-foot lanes, but that would certainly, it really slows people down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was one of your suggestions, though, was it?
No, not the fog lines. That's just Bill has just brought in. Yeah.
But back to the schools, if we could, consider, basically narrowing the lanes around every walkway to school that doesn't have, every pathway to school that doesn't have sidewalks, that would, or just in general, that would be, I think, well received. Because the fog lines really do slow people down.
And if nothing, it guides them away. And so I find that for people who have mailboxes and they have to go get the mail, just moving those cars 2 feet or further away from the curb, or if when you're walking, rather than having the car appear to be right on top of you, that extra 2 foot of comfort. Again, it's just a line,
walking my dog,
but if 90-something% are following inside the line, you've improved the situation. And that's what I think this board's trying
And
to
at
do.
night, it helps.
Yep.
I mean, it's really, it makes a big difference.
And today's vehicles will self-correct, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I think, Frank might know offhand, but I think Pansy Road was just recently paved, like maybe 2 years ago. So whatever lines we put on, they won't be wasted, they'll last significant amount of time, so.
Do you want to make a motion, Bill?
And then-
1 minute,
Yeah,
just
make sure
before.
everybody
So the proposal from the resident was a stop sign at Pansy, so we are not supporting that. And for an alternatives, I just want to be clear first. So in an alternative, we are proposing fog lines and also school zones with reduced speeds, additional signs and speed management, and any operational measures. So that's the alternatives that we have a proposal along with the fog line. So now you can make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say fog line?
Yes.
Fog or edge line? Those big-
Edge line, okay, thank you. Sorry.
So I'll make a motion to deny the stop sign, as they're not used for speed control. But instead, to increase safety, we would install fog or edge lines, and any school zone signs and speed limit signs that, quote, appear absent, let's just say
On
that.
Pansy Road,
On Pansy Road. That's
because the other ones will be covered by the police department.
Yeah, there will be something, because as you're approaching Stilson Road, there has to be a warning that there's a speed camera and reduced speed. So there'll be something on Pansy. It's just, the town doesn't require the flashing lights, the state does.
And our speed feedback sign and speed limit 25 and flashing, and so they don't allow flashing, they allow flashing. Okay.
Yeah, with the speed signs, but,
Okay.
yeah, Pansy's a town road anyway, but the state's okay with the right of way with those things down.
And maybe someday they'll let you rotate the camera, and then therefore you can pick up some on the other, stretching the school zone a bit. Yeah, did you get that motion?
I think so. I got, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
I
that
have?
way,
Okay.
yeah.
Bill Hurley made a motion to not approve the stop sign, but install fogger lines, edge lines, and reduced speed school zone signs.
I think the only thing he would want to put in there is to not approve the stop sign as
For
a
speed.
control
Okay,
measure.
sorry, yes, I do remember that. Okay.
Along Pansy Road.
Yeah, or deny the stop sign.
Deny, okay.
Due to the fact that they're not used for speed control. And then the other was to install,
Do you want to read
Fog-
from here?
fog
Because
line.
I have these suggestions. I'm not sure if you guys are following this suggestion or no.
Yes.
ABC. Because I
well,
don't know, you're
yeah,
saying
that does,
speed limit
yeah.
signs.
And then the other would be install the fog lines or edge lines and any school zones or speed limit signs that are absent on Pansy Road.
And there are other ones too.
And then
Radar feedback signs
That
and
would,
any other
okay,
thing.
but okay, so then that's what we have so far on the motion, but as Meg had said, do the recommendations. There was also a radar speed feedback sign during school hours. And
what is
a speed
this?
limit or 25 or lower, we can't
Okay.
do that, so
Okay.
that's
Well,
out.
that would be coordinated with.
With the
Right.
Yeah, OSTA.
speed cameras.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
that's, cool,
Okay.
yeah. And then the radar speed feedback sign,
During school.
during school hours, what I typically would say for the radar feedback sign is to then place, rather than, because I don't know if they're talking about buying a separate one, or if we just make sure that, that this location is on the part of the rotating list.
Already is.
It is already.
It's on my board.
So,
Okay.
so that's why I don't think we need to put that in
Okay,
there.
so that's good.
It's
And
already
then
being
we
done.
also will suggest operational measures, just study the enforcement, just clear enforcement, school zone times tied to these signs, and targeted police enforcement in the first weeks after changes.
So a lot of these recommendations are already being done by the police. Yep.
Can I add something like in this matter about the police enforcement?
Yeah.
Only 4% of vehicle make the speed 25 to 31. So only few of the vehicle are speeding too much, not like 30. They are speeding like more than 40 or 50. So I think those few, little portion of vehicles should be controlled because they could occur any accident there if they run
Absolutely.
during the school times. And I went through the blanket data. Most of the vehicle of those 4% run at night. So that's why
Okay,
we didn't.
so it's after school hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an important
Yeah.
thing to know. If someone's speeding, you'd rather have them at least speeding at night rather than school or during busy times. Okay. So then that original, what do we call these things? The
Motion.
yeah.
Yeah.
The motion stands as you read.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yes. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yep, okay.
Okay, so we're done with this, Pansy. Now we are coming on the removal of on-street parking, meaning to install a no parking sign at Old Post Road. This is for John Street on Old Post Road intersection. And the resident is concerned about limited visibility for street parking, and there are bushes along Old Post Road just by the intersection of John Street and the Old Post Road. They mentioned that a large bush at the corner and a sharp curve make it hard to see oncoming traffic until vehicles are very, very close. Even though the parked cars are legally permitted, removing those spaces would make the area safer. Parking along Rennell Drive between Old Post Road and Post Road has also become a concern, especially during the morning and evening hours when the Equinox gym is most crowded. So what she's saying is during this gym hours, it becomes very on-street parking gets busy, and the side distance becomes an issue at Rennell Drive and at Old Post Road intersecting John Street. So that's one of her concerns are. She is saying, I don't know, the resident, the request by the resident includes the following. Improve the visibility along Old Post Road and at Rennell Drive by installing a no parking sign along the Old Post Road and Rennell Drive. So that's her request. We just did some studies there. We visited on the site, so definitely the bush is on the east side. We will request the DPW to clear the sight line, but along the sight line, there is also on-street parking at Old Post Road and Rennell Drive. So, no
We're getting
parking.
a sidewalk along that, right, Emily?
Yeah, with the development.
You know, there's a new development we just approved right there, so that should improve it. And so the parking is for the park right there? Is that right?
There's designated spots there, but what we find is, or at least the complaints we get, it's a lot of overflow with the gym. Yeah.
Because I think there's a time limit. You can't park there more than 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know about, the park, but those are all kind of off the road, so they're not an issue.
Right.
But the street parking, the complaints we get, it's gym related.
It's where those little white dots are?
Yes,
Yeah, that looks like a pretty tight spot
yeah,
there.
that's a very
So
tight
if we
spot.
prevent
And it's a
them,
curve.
where's the
Yeah.
toothpaste gonna squeeze out if we block
gonna
them?
go
Where
somewhere.
are they gonna park if they're not
That,
parked there?
that is a concern.
Park on
Rennell.
John Street?
We're gonna go to Rennell. John's very narrow, so I don't really see
Yeah.
him going there, but Rennell,
You're gonna go someplace, right?
yeah.
Now, Rennell, at least is a straightaway. It's a one-way road. It's wider, so
It's all curved.
I'd rather have them there than at the curve.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And designated, do people use that designated parking in Rennell?
That's from the park. There's a park there. The park has the.
Oh, no, he's saying for Rennell, which is the other street.
It's usually,
Rennell.
we're actually parking on both sides of it, because that
Is that for
side,
the gym? People use that for the gym?
Yes, that's for the gym.
Who owns it, the state? That's gotta
The
be
state owns that because at one point they were parking off the street, which we didn't mind at all, but the state had an issue, so.
So, are you allowed to park in that Rennell spot? Yeah. But that's the state owns that.
The state owns certain,
it was just paved over extended, right?
That's kind of weird that the state.
That's
Well, 'cause it's
95.
close to 95.
But
It's,
they make those parking lots on, because there's a couple of those in town, right?
Oh, like the park and ride you're referring to?
Is that what, this was a park and ride? Is that
No,
what
this one isn't, but this, as I said, this is an issue that we tried to work out
Yeah.
with the gym. I know the police were involved.
What if we can we stripe that Rennell parking so do people park properly there?
It could be one of the options to make more visible.
Yeah. Do people
to
park
do like
properly
parallel
in Rennell?
spaces,
They-
like.
Yeah, they do, and
actual
actually you can
parallel?
make the argument that the narrowing of it slows
Slows them
traffic
down,
makes
yeah.
it a
Yeah.
little safer.
On Rennell?
We've had our issues, we've had no crash issues with any of that parking there.
Really?
It's more the cars, and I think it's made a big difference with the way it's been redesigned, is cars waiting to go on the post road stop and start in the rear end.
Yeah.
But that's gone way down since,
But if we stripe people parking properly in Rennell?
I haven't seen any issues with
Yeah.
they're on both sides of the road.
Yeah, I mean, even the aerial, it shows that they're just pulled on the side.
Yeah, but I wonder if you can make, this is an old, this one looks newer.
That one's probably newer.
Yeah, but can people park head in?
No.
It's
Yeah,
parallel?
I think Jeremy is saying there are marked parking spaces on Rennell, not a lot, not on the lot.
But on your drawing, it looks like there's a head in, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah. We took it, Shabir, when you visited, this looks as it is, like it is on that GIS, or you saw the difference? It has a pictures too.
Oh, yeah, there's a picture here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's parallel.
yeah.
I mean, keeping people from parking on Old Post Road, that's the question. That makes sense.
Yeah. Much like we just did the bus, you're going around the curve.
Yeah.
This one looks worse because it's only 25 feet. We just approved 2 projects right in there. Good projects too, right?
I hope they weren't planning on parking on the
No,
street.
No, they were not.
No, they had.
Yeah, plenty of on-street parking, on
Yeah,
project.
off-street, yeah, on property.
On-street
yeah.
parking, yeah.
Right.
Any questions?
I don't have any question. I just considering the fact that this is blocking the sideline, something to consider of removing putting a no parking.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for
I move to. Can I move to approve?
Wait a minute.
Well, I want to see if, because it was like a double, and this is where we get into trouble sometimes. It's a double request, The
Yes.
one request is a no-brainer. I think we're all ready to approve it.
But what
The
about
second
Renault?
one, yeah, the rental.
Renault Drive is the one is in decision-making thing.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think we all agree, Old Post Road
Yes.
is, we would approve that. And for me, the rental drive, I would just deny in that the fact that it's been a lot better than it's been in the past. And in my opinion, I don't want to tamper with that.
Okay.
So I would deny that one, but approve the Old Post Road. Again, all based on safety.
Any questions? Let me see if there is any questions here. Okay, Anthony had to leave, so he left, but there are no comments or questions from the public, so. I can make the motion.
I think it was the chair you're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
You can second.
No, yeah, I'll second it. You go.
Okay. I'll make the motion that we approve the no parking on the post road, but deny it for Renault.
Old Post Road.
Old Post
Old
Road,
Post
yep.
Road, sorry.
And deny for denial. I'll second it, Renell, second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Frank?
Aye.
Okay, good. So we're done all this fifth item is all cleared up from E to E. I'm moving on to the discussions. The quick one is Sunny Ridge, and then we will move to the Fairfield Beach Road because Sunny Ridge shouldn't be longer. So let's go on the Sunny Ridge.
To E. Oh, you guys did it, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, that was
We
one.
did that before, yeah.
John
I
Cattell.
was having
Yep.
computer issues.
I mean, Sunny Ridge is kind of in a decision. It's not a really left us to make any decisions or any kind of situations to address. I'm just bringing to the FTA board knowledge, maybe to consider something here. That's why we did some kind of a research on this. The Sunny Ridge Avenue residents concerned about speeding and on-street parking at both sides of Sunny Ridge Road. And they think that this is not safe for kids and mom, for kids and pedestrians that are walking on this roadway. I'm going to actually move on to Sunny Ridge quickly so that people can see. 1 minute.
It's a pretty low volume road.
Yeah. So, an average daily is 572. There are only 5 crashes history during the last 5 years, all property damage and somehow related to on-street parking. Those are the glaring facts here. Pedestrian presence is low, obviously because of winters and snows, so it's not a very good time to observe, but we will go again in summers and see what the issue is, if the pedestrian is there. No speeding as per Black Cat data. How much is the speed? There's only 25 miles per hour is a posted speed, and 18 I see as the average speed. 85th percentile is 29 on Sunny Ridge Road. So that's the speeding there. 5 crash histories. No bike lane. No sidewalks. She is asking to remove the parking. Again, no on-street parking. They were crash related to on-street parking somehow. But just a discussion item, just if anybody has ideas, we haven't reached to say any decisions like should we remove or not, or what we should do, so it's like a brainstorming, and just to think.
On a lot of people rely on that street to park. So you get rid of on-street parking there, where are they going to go? So,
Yeah, it will start.
and it might even increase the speeds that they're going
That's
to.
exactly, yeah.
So people park on Sunny Ridge?
Yes.
Yes.
They got the condos there, so it's pretty heavily parked.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't look like it's a cut through either, right? I've never been there.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it looks like it dead ends, right?
it doesn't dead end, but it's,
Close
yeah,
to
it's
it.
not what you would use as a cut through.
And unfortunately, that's where people's perception sometimes of the parked cars are actually kind of a pseudo traffic calming.
They are.
Especially if they're staggered, because then you almost act as chicanes. And so, and I totally agree with Mike that if you remove the parking, most likely you're going to see the speeds increase.
Right.
Right.
Now there's going to be nothing in the way. And as far as the safety, I don't know. Do we know if there's sidewalks here or not? Because it was
There are,
all
yeah.
plowed.
I'm looking at it.
No, there's no sidewalk exists along the 30-foot portions, it's 30.
Both sides.
Yeah,
Oh,
both
okay.
sides.
So.
Street trees too, so, I mean, that slows cars down.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see anything.
It's a nice street.
Really
Yeah.
do here. And I don't think there's a major generator where we would want to put a crosswalk or
It's just missing the
anything.
sidewalks in the southern part of it.
We're towards the highway?
Towards Stevens, yeah, towards the hill.
Stevens.
That's on like it's a hill.
Maybe consider for future, you know,
The question is up
activity.
by the apartments though, right?
Body part,
Yeah.
did they specify, was it near the apartments or just the whole?
No, he's just along the Sunny Road, she didn't
She
mention.
does live at 240,
40
so
Sunny
that's
Ridge
where we have
Avenue.
It's by
the.
the apartments though.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very open-ended, kind of a thoughtful process, though she's having problem with walking and though there are sidewalks and.
Yeah. You don't want to eliminate the parking there.
No, I don't think so, because you get apartments, as Bill's saying, it slows down traffic. It's a nice street with the picket fences and the trees.
Yeah.
It's just very challenging right now with the snow.
Yeah, it is, so we
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
looking at the
use it
Google
again.
I could just say if maybe during police patrols or anybody, you know, goes, if there's one particular parking spot that, you know, geez, we could eliminate one to help sight distance or something like that. But other than that, I would probably just leave the street as it
Well,
is.
I mean, is it a yellow curb issue by where the intersections are, so people, when they cross the street, they can't?
No,
It
there's
wasn't
no,
specific.
they're not specific.
Yeah.
It's just along Sunny Ridge where there's on-street parking is an issue for them.
Because I don't see any signs saying, you know, no parking here to corner. Oh, no, there is. Yeah, there's a sign. there.
Usually is.
There is, yeah. Yeah, no parking here to corner.
Yeah, there is one sign.
Yeah. This looks I mean, this looks, I wish every street in town looked like this, you know? This is a pretty good street.
I said, we'll informally, you know, keep an eye, because it's on our radar,
Yeah.
and same thing with patrols, and if we notice something or observe something, we can always bring it back, but I think there's nothing we can do really right now,
No,
not based on the facts or the data, you know.
yeah, the data is not enough to support.
Like you said, I mean, most of those crashes are property damage, like a mirror getting knocked off, and you prefer
Yeah.
that over something.
One
more
is
serious.
related to on-street parking. All of these are property damage and somehow related to on-street parking. So,
Based on need, you can't just make.
but
it
it's such a
go.
low
You guys
speed.
have limited overtime in your budget, so, you know.
Yeah.
So we have only 25 miles per hour. I mean, the speed is not aggressively there that. So I don't know
I
why.
wish every street were like this one, right? No, It's trees, sidewalks, below 25.
It's got a lot of the
Yeah.
elements that you would want on a
Yeah,
residential
it's a
street.
great street.
So we'll leave it as it is for now. If any thought process comes along the way, we'll keep it open. Okay. So that's
Fairfield
just
Beach
a
Road,
discussion, yeah, so let's go over to the Fairfield Beach Road, I'm going to open it on my screen and, I'll just give some background on this and then I will have John talk about it. So we evaluated Fairfield Beach Road. We received a request to evaluate and implement measures to reduce vehicle speeds along Fairfield Beach Road. And we did inspected the road multiple times and gathered traffic volume and speed data using Black Cat data. Our findings are this: the posted speed limit is 25. Roadway width is 20 and it varies 20 and 30 feet. There is no designated bicycle lanes. Sidewalk infrastructure exists only along some limited segments.
All right, question. This graphic seems to depict Fairfield Beach Road from the Sea Grape down to the peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
Our study is from Beach Road to the Sea Grape.
Okay. Oh,
That's coming.
I think it's in the next one,
what's the
Megan.
next one?
Okay, I just want to make sure that the data that was collected is commensurate with what we,
Okay, so the second one, where sidewalks are present along Wedge Hill, then it should this one.
Correct, Beach
That's it,
Road, yeah,
yes.
it actually shows both.
Yep.
Yeah, but it includes the section that you're referring to.
yeah, that's where we wanted to
Right,
start.
and that's basically in a
We
nutshell.
collected everything, the overall.
Fair enough.
Beach to reef is
Yeah.
the section. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not missing anything. These are Black Cat finding. I'll just go over the data collection first. The maximum average speed is 26 miles per hour.
Can I ask a quick question about that though? But again, is that the average speed for the entire road? Which it looks like?
No, the Black Cat was placed over here. If you see.
Oh, yeah, he might not know that, I think there were 3 different locations.
Location.
Three
Yeah.
locations here.
I have it on the map
Yeah.
here.
So is your summary from 1, 2, and 3?
Yes. Is it? Yeah, that's what they placed.
Go back and show them where 1, 2, and 3 are. Yeah, it's right there. Right.
I'm trying to understand, so the Black Hat 3, that's the corner of Beach Road to presumably, is that Penfield Pavilion? I can't tell what,
Yeah, what are we looking at there?
This is the peninsula part.
Yeah.
yeah, this is not what we
I
wanted.
don't think our stretch is
represented.
So that's not what we
That's
asked
fine.
for.
We can go over Black Cat, but I just want to start this conversation today with the, average. Will it matter if we just, will it be matter on the sections? Because
Yeah, because they're different. The peninsula section
Yeah,
is
Very
narrower,
different.
and you might get, compared to the other, artificially low speeds.
Yeah, again, because the whole.
Wouldn't be a
purpose
fair
of what we-
assessment.
From Beach Road in particular to Penfield Pavilion, the stretch where I live, that road is designed like a highway. It's over 30 feet wide. It's a straightaway. It doesn't align with the neighborhood, and it signals to the drivers that they can go as fast as they want. And that's where the speed is the most pronounced and where we were trying to get data to validate and support the conclusions for us that live on that road already know to be true.
Are you sure it's not in the third capture?
Yeah.
If you go back up to the
The
other,
map here.
One picture I think shows that section.
yeah, I think
It is a mix.
I think it's
They
actually,
did
because when you
bring
go to the one that goes up that has the 15,000, well, that still doesn't seem like enough trips over a week
I
period.
don't know if they placed, because I did asked.
Yeah, and again, I tried to call about this because I live on the road and was trying to see, I could never see where the Black Cat devices
Go back
were
down.
deployed on our side of the road, but I was
Yeah,
pretty
for
sure they
the third
were.
one on the right, like I have a feeling the first two, if they're on any stretch of the peninsula, those are lower volume, but if you look at the higher volume, maybe that captures like.
Yeah.
You can see how
very
that
west
volume
end.
changed drastically.
Yeah, that might capture the very west end of that strip, but then we would have to go back out and look at the.
Black Cat 3 it's west of Reef.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
so I
west of-
think,
It's west of Reef.
I think we'd have to go back
So
out.
that's not
Yeah.
what we
That's
wanted.
the
So
peninsula.
go back to your map. So Reef is about right
at the beginning of
Reef
it.
is like right here.
Exactly right. Yeah, so this is
So
the,
they
Here's
didn't,
the
they
sewage
didn't
treatment
install
plant.
that where
Yeah.
needed.
Here's the sewage treatment plant, and so, yeah, Reef is like right here.
Okay.
Yeah, everything like along the peninsula, it's like very narrow.
Yeah.
You know, there, I don't think there's probably significant speeding there, but where John and I live,
Yes.
like I live right across from the Fairfield Beach Club. People come down beach, they don't make a complete stop at that stop sign, they come whipping around the corner and then they just straight shot drag race up.
all the way to
between
Penfield
between
Pavilion to the
beach
next
until-
stop
yeah.
sign if they go. So that's, and on our side of the road, there is, it's the driveway, mailbox use, you're stepping into oncoming traffic and generally college kids texting. And there's, I can think of 4 families that have little kids. So the other thing, regardless if the data was collected,
Well,
correctly.
let's just go back to the data, because that, for that stretch of road, an average speed of 26 miles an hour seems ridiculously fast, because that is it's basically a driveway, right?
It's very narrow.
Yeah, that section of beach, so,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
this
that's-
is, and then somebody did 85 and
College
58 and
kids,
63, I
Ubers,
mean,
you name it.
so that's, I mean, we're talking about the narrower section of road where there's already, this is a speeding problem in my mind, on the more constrained part of the road, not where you guys are talking about. I know exactly where you guys live, so.
Okay.
And
And then
I'm, you don't have to, I'm
Yeah, fair enough.
100% with you, so.
we just wanted to go through the proper channels to get the data and follow all the steps. And like I submitted this back in July. So I guess, here we are today. But I mean, the other thing, and again, this is really being spearheaded by the Fairfield Beach Residents Association. I'm just the head of the traffic committee. But the other comments Scott really wanted me to underpin, regardless of what the Black Hat data is showing, right? That's showing the speed of the vehicles or volumes. But what it doesn't capture is how busy of a pedestrian stretch of road this is, how many people we have walking, the composition of the people. You've got elderly people, you've got a lot of young kids. We have bikes, and they walk on both sides of the road, run, you name it, and we only have a sidewalk on the one. But it's just, there's a lot of variables there that create a real conflict with safety and the Safe Streets initiative.
So the whole purpose of bringing this today is regardless of the Black Cat, we will fix that area. It's not the only driving force of what you are saying. Black Cat, just putting the speeds over there is just supporting the countermeasures. So just don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged with, we will work on that Black Cat at the other side. It also collects.
And I'd make the point of,
Yeah.
we want to do the black cat when the weather's a little bit warmer too, to get more of a seasonal.
Yeah, there's that, and then you have
College
the,
students if it's in the summer.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be, I'm talking about like
It's
even
different
in,
dynamics.
late March or April, when you start getting 50 and 60-degree days, especially the winter that we've had this year, I expect a huge increase in activity
Yeah.
for people who have been, I won't say locked in their homes, but when it's 5 degrees out, not many people are going
So
outside.
the whole purpose of bringing your now is obviously to get everybody on board, to start thinking about it, and we actually looked at your proposal. So this is why I have you here. And as I said, it's just the data collection is not the driving force; it's a part of the countermeasures evaluated. So we'll start with you on these. We did Black Cat. We will work on that. And I think these are some of the evaluations of resident proposals that technically you have proposed, right? Narrowing the roadway, right, John?
Yeah, the portion that we're talking about, and I've measured it myself in different spots, it's over 30 feet wide,
Okay.
right? So that alone, if there was, and I don't think we would have a lot of opposition having a sidewalk on our side, but if there was someone that arbitrarily thought, oh, I'm gonna lose some of my property, there's room in the road, whether we, to make it, whatever it is legally, 9 feet, whatever other I've learned a lot from coming to these meetings about different traffic calming techniques to achieve the same goal, which is safety and slowing people down. But certainly, I think a sidewalk on that side would be welcomed by the actual people that live there and would be good for the community, because it's just such a heavy pedestrian trafficked road. Just as one point, but I know.
Yeah, just getting your input, and again, there's 2 people, sort of representing the neighborhood, but just for food for thought. There's always, you know, a right-of-way issue, and obviously there's a pavement width issue. I mean, ideally, we would have loved to have 4 foot or 5 foot on either side, you know, bike lanes. But then you need a sidewalk, you know, you start running out of room. And it just poses an interesting thing, because at one point, the Bike and Pedestrian Committee, back, say, 10 years ago, and the East Coast Greenway, which is really a bike trail, goes through there. And so it was important to them to try to have a bike lane as well. And sometimes we have to, because there's just not enough room, we have to decide, you know, are more people going to use it as a bike? Or even, say, 15 years ago, rollerblading was a big thing. I don't know if it still is as much, but they were, you know, rollerbladers and bicycles using the pavement, you know. But obviously having a sidewalk for heavy pedestrian use, which we know is prevalent as well, that's something that we try to have to, you know, figure out, and then go, you know, we go from there. There are some items that we have in the toolbox that we can look at, but we were hoping to get the data, and we'll fix that.
So my question to you is, what kind of alternatives are you thinking to propose so that, you know, like, from your experience, you know, you're saying it's a high density pedestrian volume over there, the widths are wider, cut through traffic, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a cut through traffic that they are experiencing on that roadway, yeah.
So Megan, where are we on the SS4A? Because one of the objectives, are you guys familiar with SS4A, the grant? So we applied for a grant 2 years ago. Federal grant, we got $350,000. We have a consultant engaged.
Yes, we have a consultant engaged. We had a kickoff meeting about 3 weeks ago. Matter of fact, I was just off a call today related to that grant. And so regarding that grant is it will look at the whole town. And like we were talking about before with the schools or whatever, it will look at the whole town and basically give us direction and priority. It will highlight the traffic calmings.
7 meetings?
It's I think we're going to try for 10 meetings.
So
10 meetings. Yep.
So 10. I wrote the grant, but 10 meetings with different constituents. So I don't know if you figured out whether it's schools or community groups or a combination thereof, or RTM districts.
Yeah, we're going to try to go with RTM districts and have 1 or 2 overall town ones as well.
So what the grant does is it looks comprehensively at the town and identifies where there are issues. And a lot of it is school kids, parks, where people walk, right? And it's not just where there are accidents, but it's where there's potential accidents. So they don't look at where somebody's been killed, they're looking where somebody could hurt. So there's going to be 10 meetings, and then the thought is that we'll put together a high-level comprehensive plan on how to fix these problems in these 10 districts. So the beach is, Christine's on the phone. One of your, you guys know Christine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Christine's on the phone. She's been a really strong advocate for all of this. So there will be a point of engagement. When, Bill? Pretty soon.
Yeah, we hope to have at least one of the town-wide meetings. I'm going to say, probably in March, if we can get that. And then we'll have separate ones throughout the whole process, which is about 9 months.
So what that will do is allow us to come up with a pretty detailed plan by the 10 districts on what needs to be done and what measures, and then upgrading the specifications for the town to allow a lot of the things that are being kind of incrementally proposed here, chicanes, speed tables, etc., roundabouts, one of my favorites. And then that will be applied, and then what that allows us to do as a municipality is go get a federal grant to actually pay, a state and federal grant to actually pay for these things.
Okay, no, that's really encouraging. And to your question about what the proposal is now, right? And I've looked at, I gave a lot of different options on the table for the group, the decision-making forum to consider. Certainly, you know, the speed tables, the raised crosswalks, narrowing the lanes now, which you can do with, the line striping. That was one. I've also noticed in other beach areas, whether it's Campo Beach, Westport, and Westport, whether you're in Rowayton, whether you're in Darien, they have kind of, I think Chicane would be the.
Speed tables.
They have those, but they have the fencing. They got the little nice white fences that are kind of in the roads, like beach areas slow down, and people kind of, again, like what you mentioned with like the staggered cars, gets people to slow down. That's not car spread.
Those private roads though, because they're not allowed on public roads. I know what you're talking about because they have them like in the ridge. But I think those are probably private roads.
Some are, but you know, in Bell Island, you know, maybe quasi-private in Rowayton, but in Darien, the public beaches, whether it's Weed Beach, you name it, they have those. So I don't see it, and I know as well, like if I put it on this.
Yeah, because the fencing is definitely not allowed on a public road.
I don't know, or what else? What if the town approves it? I don't know.
So the
What
outcome
kind of
of
gray area of the.
The outcome of the SS4A will give us, I hope, a toolbox of these measures that are agreed upon and approved by the town, and that we can use to address these issues, and then go out and get specific money to do these things, because it's expensive. So we either need to fund it through our budget, through the state, or through federal grants.
What you might not know, Jeff, is that the town, it's not official in terms of the agreement being signed, that's probably months away, but we know we've been awarded another $350,000 for demonstration projects. And then, again, for all these things that you're mentioning, we can test them out, we have the data before and after, and with positive results, then that will definitely help the cause and support any of these measures, and then we can go for either further grants, or we go to our own Board of Finance and say, hey, all these things, you know, are proven, we have the data supported, and I think that would definitely increase the chances, especially the town's direction right now for having safer streets. And
That's just knowing how much this stretch of road is utilized by the town. The other thing, right, in the, whether it's Campo Beach, whether it's Rowayton, whether it's Darien, the speed limit in a lot of those beach areas is 15 miles an hour.
For that, just for clarifications, and so that if you can go back, the speed limits are set by the state of Connecticut, OSTA, and we, right now, we'd have no control over the speed limits that are given. We have petitioned the state on a couple of streets and were denied, but then we petitioned the state to lower them at the school zones, and for the 6 of them anyway, the other 9 or so are pending, they were able to lower it down, but we'd have to go through the state office, help me out here, Office of State Traffic
Authority.
Or Administration, yeah.
One is plenty. So, I mean, there's a whole group of us who are trying to get the speed limit, the recognized speed limit or recommended speed limit to be 20 miles an hour. In the Netherlands, there's 3 speed limits in the entire country. There's 20, there's 35, and there's 65. That's it. In our town, doesn't look that different. If you think about it, there should really only be 3 speed limits, 65 on 95 in the Merritt, 35 everywhere else, and then 20 everywhere else. So, I mean, that's what there's a group of us who are trying to get that implemented, but it comes back to physics. Like if the road was designed to go 40 miles an hour, which that road probably was, right, Bill?
There's straightaway portions, sure.
40 miles an hour, people are going to drive 40, and the idiots are going to be driving. I mean, it's shocking to see how fast people drive on that road.
It's a lot of college students. And
I think there was a section maybe in the 70s of why the road is a little bit wider in certain areas by the Penfield Pavilion. Believe it or not, I think there were islands there and they were taken out for various reasons. Unfortunately, I'm trying to still do the research to find out why.
There, huh?
But this is even before, because when I first got here, I actually saw the old outline of the islands and they were taken out for whatever reason. We don't want to repeat that, obviously, but those are some of the traffic calming, that we were talking, you could talk about the medians, chicanes, raised crosswalks. We don't necessarily expect the Fairfield Beach Road Association to come up with them, but if you tell us there's speeding, pedestrian activity, then it's up to us and our consultants to look at
Talk
those
about
answers.
emphasize the problems.
Right.
And then the traffic engineers, after we get these 2 grants implemented, should come up with a comprehensive solution and then the demonstration grant solution.
Okay.
And then-
What's the timeline on that stuff versus what we can do today? You know, for example, with narrowing the road.
Yeah, that's
Because
where.
we step up our driveway, by the way, there's a double line, but there's not even another white line to distinguish the lane. You know, if I step off my driveway, I've got to be very careful. When I first moved there, I literally was getting the mail one day and a Suburban I'm lucky I'm still here. I was like, oh my God, they come like right up to my mailbox, so.
Bill, what's your view, you know what I say tactical urbanism? What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, in certain either high injury and accident, crashes location, if we've had fatalities or if we have a known
Plates.
pedestrian, if we have a known pedestrian area.
We all know the beach areas.
Well, that's, yeah.
You can ask, Christine will bend your ear on that, tomorrow maybe, but, we all know this road is not what it should be. So tactical urbanism is really short-term measures with paint and temporary measures. And so the best way to do it is with the cooperation of the town. A lot of places, community members will just start putting cones out. And and I'm not encouraging you to do that because I'm an official, a member of this commission, but if the town could somehow figure out how to.
But that's our demonstration projects, because then somebody puts out cones, okay, that there's no before and after, you can't
But
recognize their
when are you
effectiveness.
going to get the demonstration project money? It's another year, right?
Well, again, we have certain ones that we are aligning for in the spring, and then there's going to be more coming in the summer when if the ones that are done in the spring have concluded, and we have 100 extra bollards.
Money this spring?
Well, we already have earmarked for the demonstrations on some of these projects as part of the Complete Streets funding. And then we would take that, when that group is done, we go to the next group. And I think that would hit perfect timing if we were talking about, late spring or early summer, we would then take the same measures, assuming that they're reusable, and most of them should be, then we can go on to the next phase. And this would most likely be in that next phase.
When will you guys figure out, because, just having been on the side of this for a little while, but, part of it, my sense is parks and schools are pretty clearly the priority, and the park is, the beach is a park, right? So when are you guys going to decide where to go with your temporary measures?
Well, we have, as I said, we have 3 or 4 already earmarked, and then as they're working or they're quote in progress, we'll go to the next group to plan. And again, it takes time to either have a contractor install them or have if we have the forces to do it. We want to do a before and after study to show the effectiveness. So
can you point them to? Do you still have the demo in Mill Plain and where's that, Round Hill?
Well, can I just
I'm
ask a
sorry,
question
go ahead.
about this particular location really quickly? So can we, at minimum, in this location, on the north side of the street for Fairfield Beach Road, install a fog line temporarily while we're looking at some of the more comprehensive issues?
Well,
Because
there was a fog line there, and that's what
maybe it's eroded away.
Yeah, I gotta find out.
Maybe we need to reinstall it because.
But and John, right? Is that?
Yeah.
The way it was is that at least on the one side we had like a 4-foot buffer for the bike lane or whatever. On the other side, we only had 1 foot, and I think this was one of the ones where we did a 10 or maybe even a little narrower because the pavement width just isn't there for these sections. And it really widens out, as he was mentioning, by Penfield, where, as I said, I think the old medians were, and they just eventually took them out and paved over them.
I think it's actually the stretch, the first stretch before you get to the first stop sign. I don't encounter as many people walking on the north side, but right after that stop sign, there's tons of folks who are walking in the roadway on the north side, is what I've experienced.
Like in between, are we talking?
Like right between Penfield and then the last stretch of it. I feel like
Penfield
there's,
and Reef or
Yeah, there's
Penfield
tons
and
of
Beach?
people walking the
Penfield and
road.
Reef, yeah.
No, there are a lot
Oh,
in
sidewalk.
our side of the street that,
What's that?
while we have a sidewalk that
Yeah.
parallels with the Fairfield Beach Club, there are just as many people, and it really started more during COVID. When
Yes.
people get out, they just say, I'm gonna walk in the road and run in the road, so I like to see the traffic coming. And to your point, that sidewalks, really for one or two people, and so long and short of it, I'm just not even anecdotal, having lived there for almost 6 years. There's a lot of people that walk on the side of the road where there's no sidewalk. But if I'm under excuse my ignorance of the jargon, the fog line is synonymous with that white line.
Yes.
Yes, shoulder.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. You hit the nail on the head in terms of where we are, right? There's no fog line in terms of the road goes all the way to my mailbox if they want it to be, right? So I'm just walking into the road versus there's 30 feet there. The double line, right? There's 2-laned road. There's 15 to the sidewalk to the Fairfield Beach Club, probably 15 feet from that double line to my driveway. So that's where you could narrow that road 9 feet each, slow people down, and then have.
Yeah, but, and again, I'm going by, because I had done, back in like 2015, when we did the East Coast Greenway, we didn't even have enough room in the area of the Fairfield Beach Club. It is a lot more narrow there. And that's why I was saying, in that area, you only had like 1 or 2 feet at most from the curb. If I were to make that a 4-foot wide like the other one, now we'd only have a 7-foot travel lane or something, or an 8-foot travel lane.
I have to look at that again because I've measured
But
that
as
a
you
lot,
go
and I found it
further-
to be 30.
As you go further, that might have,
Yeah.
then you're right.
Very
There's
small
definitely room.
stretch because that's exactly where I am, and I've done a lot of.
Actually, if you don't mind, just so I'm clear, if you don't mind saying your address right after the meeting, or
132 Fairfield Beach Road. So my house is across the street from the tennis courts of the Fairfield Beach Club. And then, there's 5 or 6 houses down. I'm a member of I know the Fairfield Beach Club well, right? Like, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've kind of measured that. And that part of the road all the way down to Penfield Pavilion is just gives drivers, they're very comfortable. It's this wide, open straightaway where they have plenty of room to floor it.
Yeah, well,
Too, it's hard not having a sidewalk on our side of
Oh,
the
yes.
street because I have 2 very young children who will eventually walk to Sherman, and right now we walk to the beach a lot. There's no sidewalk for me to get to those crosswalks. I have to cross the street with a stroller, like right in front of my house where people are speeding. If we had a sidewalk, I could get to those crosswalks and cross in the crosswalk. But right now, I don't have that option. I have to be pushed into the
And
street.
even the fog line's just to center the traffic there, right? Like people whip around that turn from Beach Road,
Yeah.
quite often don't observe that stop sign and then just fly on.
Third house up, so without a sidewalk, they
Yeah.
come whipping around, and I'm there with a stroller, and it's pretty dangerous.
this is where, perhaps you could help the town out a little bit as well, in that my colleague in Westport today even mentioned it when at the Safe Streets for All call that we had. Westport feels it's easier to build a road than a sidewalk, construct a road rather than a sidewalk, because usually the sidewalk is after everything's already been established, if you're trying to hit an area that's already developed. And so what we're encountering in some other locations is that we don't have the neighborhood support for sidewalk. So if there was neighborhood support on the north side, then it will help you rise to the top, if you know what I mean, knowing that we have the support. Obviously, it's a budget thing. Many people don't realize that for a concrete sidewalk, 1 mile of concrete sidewalk, it's $500,000. So, there's always a budget involved. But again, whether we go for grants or whether we have money, someone has to eventually decide or prioritize. That's where, again, this report is going to help out. But we're prioritized. But if we have neighborhood support, that kind of gives you bonus points, if you know what I mean.
We've got that. We're pretty organized, just with.
Yeah, that's why I
In a
mentioned.
good way, not adversarial, but everyone's engaged and
Right.
wants to find solutions and help and.
I guess in the meantime, can we just make a motion to skinny down each lane to 10 feet with a fog line on the north side of the street?
Can you
Can we
go?
do that? It's a discussion item.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's not, okay, it's not yet.
as
Yeah,
a,
I just
Why
want.
wouldn't it be yet?
Or can we study it? Can we study it to bring it back as a voting item?
So today was just a whole discussion to get the board aware of the situation of the roadway because they were not familiar. I know we both were going back and forth, so that was the reason I wanted them to hear, to feel the situation, and to actually discuss and brainstorm it. So there was no particular thing that I could have put as a voting item because we are still in that study phase. So that was the whole reason. I don't think we can move discussion item to the voting item, right, Robert Rule?
If we can't do it today, then what we can do is we can redirect some information on the
Yeah.
roadway width
Yes.
along the entirety of the stretch from Beach Road to
And it does
Reef Road,
vary, yep.
and determine where a fog line may be able to be installed on the north side of the road.
And one of those things, as I said, in the air now, in the area of the tennis court, and as I said, the one side had 5 feet, and the other side maybe had 2 foot. I'm talking about now the shoulder between the white line and the curb. Okay, so if we wanted to make them say 3.5 and 3.5, that balances out. But then you quote lose a little bit of the comfort for the cyclist because 3.5 feet really isn't enough for the cyclists, and then you go into the Charos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think from a safety standpoint, to have more of a barrier between those driveways and the traffic is probably, you're gonna get more bang for your, I'm just thinking in terms
Oh,
of.
and that's where,
You have the
I
sidewalk
was saying.
over there, but you've got young kids like Scott, who's part of the Beach Association, he always uses the analogy like Billy with the beach ball. I tell my kids driving in the beach area, look out for Billy with the beach ball because of all the little kids in the neighborhood where that would probably, if anyone, which is a realistic scenario, basketballs, what have you, all the little kids on our side of the street, someone gets out there, and believe me, I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old too. I'm like, no, we stay in the backyard. I've got them like fenced in because the road scares me. But I think the more barrier you have there, the better.
So what
You
engineering?
make a
so what
good point, without the
engineering-
sidewalk,
Yeah.
a bigger buffer, okay.
What engineering's gonna be able to do is, like the previous applications that we looked at tonight, they're gonna be able to measure very specifically the portions of the roadway, come back with a diagram that shows the proposal for what meets engineering best practice for implementation, and then be able to present that to the rest of us on the Fairfield Traffic Authority to review and then vote on. So we're on a path, we're just not voting, we're able to vote tonight.
Yes, so that's what the whole reason was. There was no voting item for sure, because unless we really discuss in a little bit more deeper way, and also we'll correct those locations for Black Cat.
But if we can provide direction as the FTA, I think, we don't have a specific budget for this, but generally fog lines is within the operating budget to be able to implement something like that as an interim measure.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. From going to the Safe Street meetings, the adage about making the driver uncomfortable to slow them down, having the smaller width lane, because there's no complexity to this stretch of road, and it just signals they can go as fast as they want. And I think that would make a difference. It's a good place to
I
start.
know we're really way down in the weeds on this, but 2 specific things. One, can we look at going down to 9 feet?
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah,
Based on
that's
the-
illegal, at least from Safe Streets. I think.
Well,
Yeah.
considering that it's like a beach
miles per
road,
hour.
we
No, you're
can.
allowed to go down to 9 feet.
Well, it also, I think, and again, that's
Let's take
where
a look
we'll
at
get it's important to collect the data seasonally, which we would have done anyway, even if we had collected the data for this stretch in, say, November or whatever. To collect that data, because a lot of it has to do with truck traffic and heavier vehicles.
Bill is 9 feet now, right?
Because the.
Villa works.
Villa works?
Villa
Okay,
works.
good.
It's
See,
not-
Jeff
Villa
is
works.
saying Villa works.
I drive in Villa all the time. Villa works. I see trucks there too.
But there's an overhang for their mirrors, you got to
Yeah, no,
consider
but
all
I'm
that
saying
stuff.
the painted line, 9, I'm just saying,
Put it this way.
look at it, yeah.
If there's a road that's going to have 9 foot, Okay, it's going to be Fairfield Beach, and I believe there are probably some sections that have 9 foot on the peninsula side, because we only have an
There's no-
18 or
there's no
20 foot
space,
wide
yeah.
road to begin with.
And
So-
just one other question, can we get rid of the yellow line? Can we look at that?
In the middle?
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of the yellow line? in
Slows
the
cars
middle?
down.
So you just have the one stripe, the one orange stripe?
No, just white stripes on both sides. It slows cars down. People,
Really?
100%.
But then why wouldn't somebody drive in the middle and then you end up
But
with
that,
the,
yeah,
With the
People
chicken
slow-
situation.
So just
Really?
next time you're watching, BritBox, right? You guys
you
watch
just
BritBox?
have a fog, of course I do.
Everything
I love
in
a
the
British murder
UK
mystery. Come on.
is two white lines. No, just pay attention. Every time, the Cotswolds are dangerous. There's murders there every week. But in Europe, because the roads are so old, everything is two white lines, and it absolutely slows things down.
Yeah, the only thing there, though, if you just have the two white lines and you want to gun it, and then you don't have that narrowing, you might go towards the middle.
Yeah, exactly,
But
that's
but
what, that's what.
it's 100%.
I don't doubt.
I've seen it both.
You still have the crosswalk signs, right, that would signal that there's people coming.
I'm just saying, look at it.
Yeah,
not
I'm
saying-
just here to learn.
But to your point, though, I've seen it both ways, where, again, the quote confusion, might help slow the traffic down, but I've also seen it on a road that doesn't have any pavement markings at all, and they go whipping down the middle of the road.
It's no markings, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I know this isn't marked, I mean, this isn't like a town collector road, but this really is a collector road for this neighborhood. So I would worry about not having a middle yellow, but
Watch BritBox.
I do, actually.
Pay attention to the roads.
I do.
No, because as somebody who cycled in Europe
Yeah.
on the really narrow roads, people they turn aside. And like in Seattle, there were no yellow lines anywhere, because the streets were narrow and people would just pull aside. So
Okay, so,
We
Fran,
digress.
I'm
just
curious.
put a note there that we had a discussion, we can take the feedback and come back to this board again with an action item. So similarly what we are thinking. So I just want to actually recap on our action items, like what are our next steps? If you can repeat, Emmeline, so we can.
Well, I would say the next steps to bring to a future meeting is to have a full analysis of the roadway width of Fairfield Beach Road from Beach Road to Reef Road,
reef to beach, right? Yep.
Reef to Beach, to be able to provide schematic diagram for where the engineering department would recommend placement of a fog line on the north side of the street. Bringing the drive aisle width down to 9 to 10 feet per the recommendation of the engineering department.
So we will work on this and we'll try to get it into our next agenda. Good, John?
Do you need a second for the direction? I don't know.
No, we don't need second, I
It's
just
I
writing so that we are
It's a
clear
suggestion.
on next steps. So that John is like, oh, I'm waiting since July now. It's-
Well, I go to the board meetings, so they're like, so what is it you do? What do you got for us? And I'm like, I'm
So
fine.
just telling him.
So thank you.
like, we
No,
are
I
listening
just
to
get
you,
pressure from some.
and we are in the process, so don't get, but we are in the process, so we'll try to expedite for next
Okay,
agenda.
I appreciate it. We're here to try to help, not be complainers, so.
Okay, so good. Yes, and just an update, so this was the discussion. I just want to.
Thank you for
Thank you,
everyone.
guys.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing our concerns.
So just an update for FD on the following item is the preventive measure request at Roger Road. We visited this last time. I did not see anything, like, it's similar to,
Sunny Ridge?
Sunny
Yeah, that's
Ridge.
what I thought, yep.
so I just want to bring an update that we collected all the data and we have not reached to any kind of a decision making for Sunny Ridge. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
That's an update.
Yeah, very similar.
Very well,
Sunny Ridge.
yeah, Sunny Ridge. If
And that
somebody
has sidewalks on both
Yeah.
sides, the whole breadth.
So
If
when
you don't
I-
mind, really quick, for Rogers Road, if there's, if you think fog lines might help, or if we maybe take out a couple, but not all parking spots to kind of create a chicane, that's about the only thing I
The
can.
only thing, yeah, the fog lines, there's so many cars parked on, again, it's
Yeah, right.
heavily parked.
Yep.
The fog lines are gonna be parked over.
Yeah.
I don't really see a need for any of it.
That's, I think you're right
I
on
mean,
that.
maybe we get a car that gets clipped, like the mirror and stuff, but again, you'd rather that than something.
And I don't think it's wide enough. The road was wide enough.
No, and it's got natural curves in it too, which slows cars down. That maybe get the perception that it's going faster.
Yeah, just write it right
You know,
next to your name.
guide you
Here.
if you
Thank you.
didn't see the parked car. You know,
Right,
that's the only thing I can think of.
yeah, but there's typically, especially like when on working hours, there's cars parked on both sides. So it kind of would cover most of it.
All right, great, thanks. I think it's right
So
adjourned.
I think we can adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Frank, aye. Thank you.